This is Shelley Kraft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the LD Micro main event in Bel Air, California, 2015. I have with me David Stein, Aberdeen International. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is AAB on the TSX. David, welcome to SNNLive.
Thank you, Shelley, for having me.
It's good to have you. Let's get into it. Tell us about Aberdeen.
Aberdeen is a publicly traded investment company that focuses exclusively on mining. Right now, we're focused on unlocking value in two deals we did in 2015, a platinum palladium acquisition and a lithium deal.
So, as news would have it, the sector, the mining sector, the resource sector has totally been hammered. How do you exist in it? How are you making money in it?
So we're fortunate we had a strong balance sheet going in, and what we've been able to do, I guess, is a couple of things. Number one is we took a lot of non-core assets and we sold them, and we created a fund around that. So not only did that raise us some cash in 2015, but it also gets us a management fee and an ongoing income from that going forward. And with that, plus some of the capital that we had before, we've been able to do these two, sort of landmark transactions in 2015 that give our investors exposure to some excellent projects for the recovery that we expect to happen in the coming years.
So what is it then in platinum and lithium? You own a percentage of the actual mining company and the resource itself? Am I on it?
You are slightly different for the two companies. With the Platinum Palladium company, African Thunder Platinum, we own about 47% of that right now, and we co-own it with the partner that we did the acquisition with, which is called Pala Investments. They're a private equity investor out of Switzerland. And together with Pala, we oversee the management and operation of that company. In the case of the Diablios Lithium project that we're acquiring right now, we will own 100% of that. So that will be a full sub of Aberdeen that we will manage ourselves.
What is your criteria when it comes to choosing, A, which of the resources you want to look at, and B, is it management, is it the size of the resource, etc.?
For us, we are really asset-based investors first and foremost. So we look, even before we look at the commodity, we will look at the asset, what database is there already. We don't want to get in too early or too speculative. We want to see sort of some downside protection from a resource being there, or perhaps some capital equipment being available that we can buy. And then from there, we would look at where it is, what commodity it's in, how cheap we're buying it, and in some cases we do retain management as well, so that may come into the equation as well. Although with our team, we do have a tremendous amount of industry expertise that we can use not only to shape the strategy of these investments going forward, but also our relationships to help add management where necessary.
Do you limit your investments to strictly producing companies, or do you also look at developing and exploration companies in the resource sector?
We find that there's actually a sweet spot in between those two extremes. So exploration is too risky. It's a binary outcome where your downside is 100%, so we don't want to get involved in that. What we like is projects that have a resource, perhaps some engineering done on them, that we can then develop through to production. And as you de-risk those projects, as you do the studies, as you grow the resource, you're adding value irrespective of what's going on with the commodity price. So you can generate a return, and you're not necessarily waiting for some macro event to help you out, which is great. And that's where we're positioned right now. In some cases, we'll even get involved in small-scale production where we know there's an easy and low-capital way to expand them. And African Thunder actually falls into that category. So African Thunder, they're one of the two assets in that company is a producing platinum mine that we can expand production from going forward.
So you're not adverse to gold, silver, or any other if it makes sense?
No, we're not. As I said, we focus first on the project, then we look at the commodity. That being said, what I really like about where we're positioned right now is we're in two commodities that kind of follow the global environmental theme right now in terms of cleaner transportation technology, which is the biggest component or one of the biggest components of air pollution, both in the Western world and the developing world like China. So everybody at the Paris Summit right now is talking about cleaning up the environment. Platinum and lithium both have ways to play that theme.
What's the difference between Aberdeen and a project generator?
Well, I would say Aberdeen, we get involved at a later stage, and we have our own capital to invest, and so we will usually find projects perhaps that a project generator's already done some of the legwork on. We'll get involved after it's been de-risked already partially, and where we want to get involved is sort of taking that project and actually putting it through to production, which may take another 3 to 5 years in some cases. So that's kind of our time horizon, our sweet spot, is that in-between time, rather than getting involved too early.
What's your background?
I actually did geological engineering, and then I did a master's in geology, so I have a technical background, but very early on in my career I got into the financial side of the business as an equity analyst. I did that for 9 years, and then I joined Aberdeen in 2009.
So now let's get your website for our audience, please.
It's www.AberdeenInternational.ca.
Ladies and gentlemen, David Stein, Aberdeen International. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is AAB. It's on the Toronto Stock Exchange. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive, and we're coming to you live from the LD Micro main event in Bel Air, California, 2015. David, thanks for coming on.
Thanks a lot, Shelley. Pleasure.